Grab a beer and pull up a chair. Welcome to the Northwoods Beer Guy Podcast. Right. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Northwoods Beer Guy Podcast. This is Mike, the Northwoods Beer Guy. And as always, I'm here with my trusty fellow beer drinker. What was it I was supposed to say?
Oh, yeah, all the good things.
All the good things, yes. The guy with all the good things. Jim, how's it going, dude?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing all right.
I'm glad we rehearsed this. You could say that all right.
I know. I had it, and then I lost it, and it just went downhill from there.
Poof.
So I apologize for that. So, yeah, we are back. Well, this was last Friday, Saturday used to be the Between the Bluffs Beer, Wine, and Cheese Fest, and it was now rebranded as the Beverages and Bites Fest.
Yes.
So
new name, new
everything.
Everything. Yeah, like branding the whole 9 yards, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I'm having a marketing background, that did kind of surprise me, thinking that it's been around for 25 years as Beer, Wine, and Cheese, and then you decide to rebrand it.
Right.
Just to me, looking at that, it was kind of like interesting.
So when did it start being called Between the Bluffs?
I think that was right off the bat.
So that's what originally
I think
was.
from the original.
Okay.
The original time. So, well, we actually had very good representation for the show there. It was myself, you,
yep,
my brother,
yep,
the brewer, Brian was there, Toby was there,
yep,
John was there. And if you remember, ladies and gentlemen, Biz, she was there.
Yep.
I had grand plans of, I had my little travel type microphones and I was going to do some stuff, and that didn't quite happen that way.
Yeah, it was a little louder.
They had live music, which the band was good.
Yep.
They had multiple bands, one at a time, of course, and it was good music. Don't get me wrong, but it made it very difficult.
The background noise
was that, and then all the people,
right?
When we're in there, because we typically do the VIP, so we do it intentionally. So we have 2 hours to talk with the breweries and the people there, so we can at least,
interact a little bit.
Interact with them and find out some stuff about the beers and that. So after that went south, I totally dropped the ball and didn't take many notes, which thank goodness you did. You took some notes.
Right. You saw my scribble. It wasn't easy to decipher, but I think I pieced together a few things, and then I looked today and got a little bit more research so we can talk a little bit about some of them.
Okay. Yeah, and it was decent. I mean, the weather was great. Yep. I mean, that's one thing.
Better than expected. I mean, very nice temperature. It had a light breeze going, but it was very nice. Right.
Not bad at all. So that was good.
And the rain held off, and clouds out, and it wasn't windy. It was actually very, I don't think you could actually ask for a better end of April day with the way the weather's just been going up and down. So
I agree.
So weirdly.
100% with you. We've been dealing with flooding and rain and hail and
I know the wife, she packed winter clothes, long johns, heavy jacket, and shorts and a t-shirt
because you just never knew.
You didn't know what it could have been.
Exactly. So yeah, it was now one thing right off the bat that was definitely, it was nice to see it, was they had a big giant tent again. This was the first time since COVID,
right,
that they had that, and they still had some stuff. There were still a few places that had their pop-up, easy up type,
right,
things for trade shows and such. So there was some of that outside as well. But yeah, that part was kind of getting a little more back to normal, I guess you could say, for how it used to be.
But then I think in your instance, there was no way you were going to be able to record in that big tent.
No. Because it was just like a constant hum, if you want to call it that.
And I don't think people were overly loud.
No.
But when you get a couple thousand people all talking at the same time. And there's just no way.
And it just acts like a whatever to rebound the sound back at you. You know what I mean? So,
yeah. You had good intentions.
I had the best of intentions, and it just didn't work out.
Right.
So.
And I just had a little piece of paper and tried to write down just a couple of words, and hopefully it would spur me. We talk about it now just to after drinking for a couple hours, your taste buds are not tasting everything like they were at the beginning. So hopefully I can remember a little bit about some of these beers.
Oh, I'm sure we will. So I know the vast majority of these that you had on your list, I had tasted as well.
Okay, good.
So we did have corroborating.
Right.
Yeah. Like that. Yeah, there was, I shouldn't say, I forgot to mention Larry was there. Sorry about that. Shout out to Larry. Totally left him off of the introduction. So he was there as well. Anyway, so yeah, when we first got in, we decided to go to the VIP tent because they usually, they used to have a bunch of specialty beers or something in there. So I thought, well, let's hit that seriously, because half the time we'd go there and it would already be gone by the time we'd go in there, you know. So we went in, and really the one place that I really noticed that had beer in there was 608.
Okay.
They're out of Crosse, of course. And they had, I think it was 3 or 4 beers there. Really, we only tried one, and it was their barrel-aged barley wine, and it was called It From the Pit.
Ooh.
And that one, it was like 15.1% ABV.
I did not try that one.
Yeah. And honestly, it was pretty decent. Now, on Friday, when I met up with my brother and those guys, we met at 608.
Okay.
And had to try a few beers. And the one thing and I think Larry's the one that pointed this out, he goes, do you remember last year when we were here, they didn't have any barrels laying around?
Oh, really?
And this year they had all sorts of barrels.
Okay.
Like sitting there aging. So maybe whatever was happening with their stuff, they've kind of got it figured out. And they're getting back into doing barrel-aged stuff.
Okay. All right.
So they did also release a couple of barrel-aged beers there on Friday, but it was the Mexican chocolate cake and the German chocolate cake. One was from 2025, and the other one I think was new.
Okay.
And they were good. Don't get me wrong.
Right. Because we've had the same batch, right?
Yeah.
The flavor didn't change drastically, right?
No, correct. Yeah. So it was good, but hopefully that means that they're kind of getting back on track for doing that. But anyway, So that barley wine, it was definitely good. I mean, you could smell that there was a boozy character to it. You know what I mean? I mean, you could definitely smell it. And flavor-wise, it was pretty decent. Now, you could definitely, when you tasted it, the booziness, it wasn't as strong as what the aroma was.
Okay.
You know, but you knew that, you drink too much of it, and you're going to be loopy already. And in fact, it was kind of funny because the gentleman that was pouring them had asked to go, so you guys are hitting the big boys right off the bat, huh? We're like, well, no better time than the present, so.
Can't be afraid.
Exactly. So we tried that. And like I said, it was decent. I mean, I think trying to remember, I'd have to go back and look because I did record something in there, but I could tell right away, that it was not going to work
the
for
background
the podcast. Yeah. And I think that when we recorded it, I think we said it was probably like 3.2, 3.3, 3.4, somewhere. I'll have to look back just to make sure. But it was decent. Now, I do know that I've got 1 or 2 bottles of it in my basement from when they came up with it how many years ago. So we may have to end up at some point trying that, and just to see, how that aged over time. It hasn't exploded or anything, so that's a good sign. So
very good.
So So after that, then we went into the main part, and you had already been going through. So
I'm getting kind of parched.
Okay, well, we do have a couple of beers that we're going to try.
I know these are just some out and left field beers that don't pertain to anything in particular. It's just, I thought maybe we could keep our whistles wet while we're talking a little bit. So what do you got there first anyway?
Well, the first one that we have is from Elysian.
Okay.
And it's their Night Owl Pumpkin Ale.
Ooh, all right.
The reason I grabbed this is because I didn't figure it was going to hang out very good to be way in when we hit our pumpkin beers in this fall. So
good point.
I figured we might as well just give her a whirl.
See what happens, right?
Yeah. So now this is, again, like I said, Elysian Brewing, and they're out of Seattle, Washington.
All right.
And it says, their description is, our OG pumpkin ale. Night Owl is brewed with pumpkin, roasted, and raw pumpkin seeds.
Ooh. And
spiced in conditioning with nutmeg, clove, cinnamon, ginger, and allspice. Night Owl won a gold medal at the 2022 Great American Beer Festival in the pumpkin beer category.
Nice. Well, maybe you found the nuggets in the trash there. I don't know.
Well, we'll find out.
It's got a lot of good.
It's got a lot of stuff.
It can talk good.
Yes, it's got a lot of stuff in it.
Now, see if it tastes good.
Right. That's always the kicker. Sometimes we see a lot of description and not a lot of flavor. So we will figure that out here.
Well, it definitely looks like
orange. Looks like pumpkin, kind of that darker color. You know what I mean?
Dark. It's got a little orange. You can't see through it.
That is for sure. Not a lot of aroma.
Is that a little spice? Is that?
Oh, I'm sure there's a little bit. Yeah.
Aroma there?
Yeah, I do get a little bit of, I think it's like the nutmeg or the allspice probably is more.
But very, very faint.
Very faint. I can definitely taste the
pumpkin.
The pumpkin spice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's not bad. I mean,
no.
We've definitely had some much worse.
Yes. Yes, I will second that thought. We definitely have.
But flavor-wise, I mean, there's flavor.
Yeah.
It's not bad. I mean, it's good.
I'm not really offended by it by any means. I mean, when thinking back to when we do some of our pumpkin episodes, it's always kind of like, boy, I wish it had more pumpkin pie flavor. This one's kind of on that verge, not over the top, but it's, more than just pumpkin.
Right. And I think it helps. You said it had pumpkin and pumpkin seeds, so maybe that.
I don't know what the roasted pumpkin seeds do.
But it does give it some lasting flavor. I mean, it kind of lingers and it's not a bad finish, but I mean, that it's there.
Yep, exactly.
Which is, to me, that's not bad. I mean,
no, I don't.
Surprisingly,
I don't mind it.
I mean, I think you'll maybe agree, but it is a crapshoot when we try these pumpkin beers. I mean, because we go from one extreme to the other.
Yep. Especially when it's out of season. We've had this one, I think, for a little bit, or we got it when we were doing doing a beer run at Total Wine or something, and it was still there. So,
so that this one didn't match up with anything else we have in the fridge. So this, I think it was good to have it on here. That's good. Mm-hmm. So do you want to go first?
Yeah, I like it. I think I like the flavor. It could be a little bit more on the flavor and aroma, but I think it's one of those you could sit down and drink a bottle of it and not get burned out by any means. Color-wise, definitely looks like what I would expect like a pumpkin ale to look like, that kind of color. I think it checks all the boxes that what they said you can taste. I'm not so sure if I get a lot of ginger, but that's not a bad thing.
Right.
Everything else I definitely reminds me of like pumpkin pie filling, So score-wise, I think I'll go like a 3. I think it was decent. Like I said, I could drink a can or a can. I shouldn't say that, a bottle. I could drink a bottle or two of it.
I think that was exactly where I was going to go. And I think that my only recommendation was going to be maybe just a touch more of the allspice or the cinnamon. I mean, other than that, I mean, it's definitely a good beer for a pumpkin beer.
Yep. I agree with you, man.
Pleasantly surprised.
Yeah. There you go.
Yes.
He made me pick one, and that's the one I grabbed. So
we dodged a bullet. Now, the next one is going to be
The next one is going to be interesting, and
we're going to put our tasters on for that one.
And it's definitely one of the more unique names I think that we've seen in a long time. So, but let's get talking about some
how
of
do
these.
You want to do like our top 2 or 3, or bottom 2 or 3, or middle 2 or 3?
I guess what we could do. Should we start with
our not so good ones?
Yeah. How do we want to start this? I guess we could start because I think we had a couple of them that were. One was for sure we didn't really care for. One was, I hate to say it, was really kind of a disappointment. I had really high hopes and such. So why don't we do those two first?
Okay.
And
how about if I'll do one of them?
Okay.
And then you can do the other one.
Okay.
So mine that I was really kind of looking forward to is because this was towards the beginning of the day. Was it towards the beginning? Or I think maybe we'd already made our trip and we're finishing the end of the VIP time. And this one had just came out, and it was very unique because all the rest of it was cans. And then there was it looked like a 12-ounce bottle, but the thickness of the glass was maybe like 1/8 of an inch thick, the whole bottle. So I was like, wow, so they put a lot of extra money into the making of the bottle just itself.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, and then the name of it, Blood of the Cherry, I'm like, wow, that sounds interesting. So I'm like, so then I go up to talk to the guy. I'm like, well, I haven't seen this like any of the liquor stores. No, we only sell it in the brewery itself. I'm like, well, wow. I'm like, all the other beers we can get. I'm like, if this is one of your barrel-aged ones, I mean, you guys could really sell a lot more if you get it out.
Yeah.
So I took my cup and I got probably more than I needed out of it. And boy, was I surprised, because then I read more of what it was, and it was a barrel-aged blended sour re-fermented on Door County cherries. And that was from Oso Brewing. Because I think we've talked a couple times, Oso doesn't always have the most flavor, but I'll definitely say this had a lot of flavor. There was no holding back on flavor. It just was not in my wheelhouse because I think, I'm not a sour guy. This one the cherries were so tart. It hurt your belly by taking a swig. I mean, I know, what were your thoughts on that one?
Well, it is kind of funny because we were just getting close to that booth and you spotted us and you came over and go, hey, did you try this? And you told me the name. I go, no, I got to try it. He goes, and you said, here, taste it. And I'm like, okay. why? He goes, you're probably not going to get it. And I'm like, okay. So I tasted it, and boy, it was
That
something.
was on the extreme of the sour level.
Oh
wasn't it?
yeah.
I don't
I
know if
can't
we
really
had-
even say I tasted cherry.
Right. I mean, have we had anything that was that tart or that sour
Not if we did.
on the
It's-
scale? I mean, that is
I say if we did, it was a long time ago.
because
And it was oof.
I mean, it was just hard to even get the other flavors because the sourness just
Oh yeah.
your whole body just cringed.
Yeah. There must be a market for it, but you couldn't taste any kind of barrel aging.
Mm-mm.
And like I said, I really didn't even get a cherry flavor. It was just that super bitter, tart where it hits you in the back of your jaw, and it was rough. I mean, it was really rough. Again, my opinion. Now, I do know I tried an IPA that they had, and it was decent. And again, I wish I would have, but this was when I was all discombobulated after my recording thing wasn't going to work. They did have their night train, which was a porter, if I remember right.
Okay.
And that one actually is good. That's the one that I can really say that is a good beer.
Okay.
But yeah, the blood of the cherry. When I walked by, I was looking. I go, oh, wait a minute, that's the one that I just tasted. That Jim gave me. So thank you for saving me from having a glass of that. I guess, but
yeah.
So if somebody really liked really tart, sour stuff, they might like that, But for me, I just like, man, I wish it had flavor and.
I mean, I don't know if I could. My stomach would physically be able to handle drinking a whole bottle of that.
It was 7%. That kind of surprised me. I thought it was going to be higher, but
I thought it was going to be 211 IBUs, which I'm like, for bitterness, that to me, that would be a 99.
Right.
As
Yeah.
bitter and tart and sour as that was. I mean, that's why I don't understand that IBU methodology, how that math works. Because that one, to me, I mean, I understand it probably had to do more if it was hoppier, but this, for me, was bitter.
Yeah, this was super bitter. So it was just like, whew. So,
Well,
yeah.
All right. So what was your not so favorite?
The one that honestly I was really looking forward to, and you actually pointed it out to me that, hey, at 2:00, Hillsborough Brewing is going to have they're going to
Separate release.
separate release at 2:00. And it was like, really? And it was called Rum Springa.
There you go. Yep.
And remember, they had on the sign that it was like a rum barrel aged, was it a stout?
Yeah, imperial stout.
Yeah, rum barrel aged stout. And it was like, okay. And like, I think on the sign it said 13.3.
Right.
I think is what it said on the sign.
Right. And I looked it up.
Yeah. And I'm wondering, because I just wonder if this was a different variation where they did it in rum barrels instead of bourbon barrels. Because the information that Jim found, it is aged for 24 months in Driftless Glen, Woolersheim, and Northern Waters bourbon barrels. Well, this one was rum barrel.
Right.
Or should I say they said it was rum barrel.
Yeah.
So, we made sure that we were over there beforehand, because at 2:00, that's when they let the general admission in.
Yep.
And if you're not in
Right
line, it gets packed in a hurry. So, we got there, and actually it was like 5 minutes to 2, and he was already pouring. He had cracked it open early for VIPs,
Right.
and was pouring it out of pitchers. And it's like, okay, great. And it was dark, and we're like, nice, smell it. And it's like, I really don't smell any rum, I thought, well, that's fine. And I tasted it, and I'm like, I'm not tasting any rum,
Right.
And you had got some too,
Yeah.
right? And I said to Brian and Larry and those guys, I'm like, I really kind of consider myself somewhat of a rum aficionado also, because that's usually my spirit of choice.
Yep.
And I just didn't get any rum flavor out of it.
I mean, I got very little flavor. I mean, here it says it's supposed to have chocolate, cherry, oak, and wafers. I mean, it was not a lot of flavor overall. I mean, it was dark in color, and that was about all you could really tell.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that it was a bad beer, but what's on the can should be in the can, like we always say. Yeah. And this one, it was just really a disappointment, because I really had high expectations. I thought, man, this is going to really be something.
Right.
And it was a decent stout.
Yeah, I mean,
but it didn't taste barrel aged. It didn't taste like rum. It didn't like all these other flavors. It just was kind of a normal stout,
just there.
Yeah. So that was the one, besides the blood of the cherry, that I was kind of like, yeah, that's kind of not
the disappointments.
Yeah. Now, one thing that I messed up onto is I did try a number of different IPAs as well, and there were some really good ones.
Okay,
and I was impressed. And I should have wrote them down, but again, I said I'll beat myself for that. But there were some really good, but they were more of the juicy IPAs, the hazy IPAs.
Yep.
That there were some ones there that had some really good flavor. And again, if I'd have wrote it down, it'd have been good because I think there's some that you would actually wouldn't have minded. So
yep.
So yeah.
So that was good because I actually did have an IPA that I thought was okay.
Okay, really?
And because that does not happen very often. So I'll have to give my shout out to Avery. Avery Brewing, which, I mean, I don't think we've had an Avery on here in quite a while because we've kind of found they really oversweeten a lot of their beers. So I just have to be standing, looked over, and Avery, I mean, there wasn't a lot of marketing going on. It was just 3 6-packs in cardboard containers sitting there. I'm like, well, I guess I'll try that one. And it was the Maharaja, the Imperial IPA.
Okay.
10% ABV. I was like going into this with super low expectations because I'm not a big IPA guy. And this was an Imperial IPA, so I was like
even worse, you're thinking.
I'm like, I'm right next to the pail to dump it out in case I gotta like do a quick dump.
Yeah.
But it was actually very good. I mean, can't complain about it at all. This was probably one of the better Avery beers I think that I've had.
Huh.
Because we've probably had some, in the high double digits, right?
Right. Yeah.
And this is a 10%. I think we may have even talked about this at one point, is telling maybe Avery, maybe lower your ABV down so you don't have to sweeten it as much, get more flavor to come through. And this was very good. I mean, the hops, like it says, tangy, vibrant, and intense. It was good. I would have had another drink of it. Another glass of it if, but as you're moving around, you don't.
Yeah. Yeah. You're trying to hit as many as you can.
Right.
Now, when you mentioned it, I did see them, and no, I don't think I tried. I thought maybe I had tried this one as well, but I don't remember for sure. But remember a few episodes ago, we were talking about how we just don't see their beers around. And you had said, well, maybe there's some of the lower stuff that they have.
Right.
And actually we were at Woodman's the other day, and they do have some but it's like the White Rascal, whatever kind of the lower ABV stuff.
Right.
They don't have, before it was always, we'd find, we've mentioned it before, Rumpkin and all these other ones. And I just don't see those anywhere. So I don't know if they quit doing them or they're just not carrying. I don't know, but they do have some. But it's not as many flavor, bottles and types as what they had before.
Right, and these were in. It was in the cardboard box. It was 16-ounce cans.
Okay,
there wasn't even in bottles because I think before it had like the aluminum wrapping around the top.
Yep,
and individually these were in a 6-pack.
Okay,
So yeah. So what was your kind of middle of the road one that kind of surprised you in a good way?
Middle of the road that surprised me. Well, I guess, one of them that I thought was pretty decent was the Mystic Knot.
Oh,
was the name of it, from Third Space.
Okay.
And I shouldn't say that. Yeah, I wouldn't say it was middle of the road, but it surprised me.
Yes.
And that was a barrel-aged Irish-style coffee stout. And I thought, Irish-style coffee stout? What's that? You know what I mean? So I can safely say I don't remember ever having many like that.
Yep.
And it was 10.5%. So I mean, it surprised me because it was pretty smooth and drinkable.
Yeah. Very, very smooth.
And the nice thing was it had a coffee flavor, don't get me wrong. But it wasn't that really strong, bitter coffee.
Yep.
Yes. And maybe that's the Irish style. I don't.
Yeah, it was very smooth.
Yeah.
I mean, the aroma was nice, but it was not overpowering. And I don't think my mouth didn't dry out. Like some of those heavy coffee stouts.
Yep.
Where it like just dries your mouth. This did not have that.
Right.
After the finish was really smooth.
Yeah. So that one was one that really did surprise me.
Yes.
I thought and especially like I said, for an Irish style coffee stout, we've had all sorts of coffee stouts, but I'm pretty sure that's probably our first Irish style. But it was good. I mean, and I got to chit chat with that gentleman a little bit, and he was a really nice guy. And I didn't try the other beers because I think the other ones I had were more just kind of their normal standard ones that we've had before.
Right.
And I usually am looking too for something I haven't ever had.
Okay.
Yep. So that one stood out to me as not middle of the road, but it definitely surprised me.
All right. Well, before we get on to our best in show, should we do our best of today?
Well, what we're hoping is the best of today.
All right. Do you want to read it, or you want me to read a little bit while you're opening her up?
You can read it. I just have to figure out how to do this.
So do you want me to read the name, or do you want to read the name?
You can.
All right. So this is after several of my relatives and me Mike's, some of his nephews are all in this department of the Navy. So this beer is called.
Well, I don't think it's going to make the noise I thought. Oh, there we go.
Oh, there it is. So this is the Drunken Sailor.
The what?
Drunken Sailor.
Okay.
And this is from Chubby Mermaid Brewing Company.
I'm sorry, but that's all right.
And this was brought back by one of our friends that does not ever want to be on our show, who only thinks that we drink coffee and cigarettes.
Yep, that's what our beers taste like.
But he happened to go to a craft brewery down in Florida, and he brought this back. It says it's called a barley wine,
Okay.
but what it says is already formidable in its base form, so there must be more variants.
Yep.
Drunken Sailor becomes something truly transcendent after months resting in white oak barrels that once held cognac.
Oh, hoity-toity.
Put your pinky out.
Yep.
This, though, the reiterated mash and massive malt bill provide the foundation. Wow. I hope that means something good. Dense layers of plums, raisins, molasses, and caramelized sugars. But the barrel aging imparts elegant notes of vanilla, toasted oak, and a whisper of brandy warmth.
Wow. So did you say the ABV?
11%.
Oh.
And 85 IBUs.
Whoa. Well,
so this is up there. So
you may like it or you may not like it, dude.
yes. So this is going to be interesting.
Definitely kind of that darker.
Yeah, it's brown. It's definitely
It's a
brownish.
brown, yeah.
I don't get
Not a lot of aroma.
much for aroma. The molasses, I think.
I get a molasses, little bit of a raisin. What else did it? Plums, maybe. Caramelized sugars. It's probably part. But that could be the sugar or the molasses.
Right.
Because I definitely think I get the molasses.
But brandy or cognac, I don't get a lot of.
I don't get a lot of warmth.
No.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I was expecting
Like
it to be
brandy,
like, whew,
right.
It's an interesting flavor.
Yeah.
Again, with a lot of these, and it's just like a normal size bottle,
Right.
but you typically get them to share.
Right.
I don't know many people, it's like you and myself. It's not like a lot of times where we're sitting down here. I'm going to grab this 15%er and just sit here and drink the whole bottle myself.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's you get it and you share it with your buddies and all that.
Yeah. It's not bad. I mean, I don't have anything negative to say. I mean, other than, like you said, I don't have that warmth and the brandy or cognac flavor. Really pretty muted.
Yeah, I would agree with you there. I'm not getting. When we've had a few other beers that have been aged in cognac barrels, and this one, I don't really get a lot of a barrel flavor out of it.
But I guess if maybe you're not the seasoned craft beer drinker,
right,
and you wanted to try that, I think this one would be all right. I mean, because I don't think you can get scared by trying this one.
I agree with you. Yeah.
I mean, I guess maybe I was hoping for just a touch more.
Yeah.
Not a lot more, just to give me a little bit more to it.
I don't know if you're noticing this, but like when I'm sitting here, after you take a drink and that aftertaste kind of comes up a little bit, where you're sitting there, to me, it almost you get a little bit of that, I guess you could say caramelized sugar, but it's almost a little bit of a tinge of a burnt flavor to it.
I didn't know what that was too. I didn't.
Yeah. So I don't know if it's the caramelized sugar or if it's from the molasses. I don't know, but that's the one thing I was noticing when you were talking. I'm going, okay, now it's kind of sneaking up a little bit. Not like, a robust porter where it's that really heavy flavor like that, but it's got just that little hint that sits there with you.
And it's right at the finish, right in the very, very end. So, good for them trying. I don't know if we've had any beers from Chubby Mermaid before.
I can safely say we probably have not. I don't know if I've even heard of them. Before we score, I got to give them a 10th of a point for the brewery name and a 10th of the point for the name of the beer.
So they're doing good there. And, I don't know how long they've been around, what they've been doing. But it looks like they're on the right track for what they're doing. And, this bottle almost looks like that blood of the cherry.
Oh, yeah. That's how thick it was?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy.
So I guess I'll go first.
I was trying to look up here in a hurry to see if we've ever had. Nope, we've never had a beer from them. So which I figured,
the Chubby Mermaid is a new one.
Yes. So that's always good.
I'd like it. Would I have liked a little bit more of the cognac or the brandy? Yes. But I'm still going to give it a 3.5. I like it.
Okay. Yeah. I was going to say, I think that it's 11%. It doesn't taste like, it's really smooth for 11%.
Right.
85 IBUs. I don't get any kind of a hop bitterness or anything like that to it. Again, I agree with you. I think we'd have liked a little bit more flavor in some parts of it. The cognac just doesn't, I don't taste that at all, to be honest. And I guess just the only downside is just that aftertaste, the finish, the way end of that finish where it just kind of
Right.
has that little bit of a burnt note to it. So I think I'm going to go like a 3.4.
Okay.
But I think it's a solid beer. And, if we ever stumble across, or when our friend goes back down there, we'll say, hey, if you could grab another one or something of a different one of theirs, it'd be interesting to try them, because I can safely say I've never heard of Chubby Mermaid
Yes.
and Drunken Sailor. So it was good.
Very good. So should I give you my top 3?
Sure. Yep. Because I think we're pretty
Close.
close, I would say, on a lot of these.
And of these 3, 2 of the 3 I've never had before. The one I just included just because it was there, but
Yep.
we've had it before.
Yep.
So, and no, I won't give you my number 1. I'll just give you my 3.
Yep.
So the top 3 I had were More S'mores, a barrel-aged stout from Boulevard.
Yep.
The Wolf, the imperial aged stout aged in bourbon barrels from Three Sheeps.
Yep.
And then the third one, the Mexican style Pot de Creme.
Oh, I'm glad. I thought it was pot de creme when I was there.
I think I'm saying it right.
I was like,
could be
what?
wrong. I could be wrong. Which was a double pastry stout from Untitled Art, the 12.9%. So those are my top 3.
Yeah, I would agree with those. Those 3 stood out to me as well for like the beers that we are normally looking for.
Yep.
Now, I will put it this way. I'll say what I think my third place one was.
Okay.
And not because it was a bad beer in any way, shape, or form, but I was hoping they brought one of the variants, and it was more just the original, and that was the Wolf.
Yes.
From Three Sheeps.
Yep.
13.9%. It's a very good beer, and we're shocker. We're going to have some episodes because we've got a number of them when we were in the Barrel Society with them. But I was really hoping they had one of the variants.
Yes, me too. This very good standby, very good. I mean, you can't go wrong by trying it.
Yeah, I agree. Now, second, I think my second, and maybe I should let you go, but I think my second place is probably the More S'mores from Boulevard. And we were there. We did not have that when we were at the brewery. So this was a new one.
Yep.
8.2%. But, I really thought it tasted like a s'more. I mean, it was pretty good.
So one thing, I was trying to do some more research. I couldn't find more, but apparently this was a partnership with Whitman's, and Whitman's makes the s'mores ice cream.
Oh, really?
Right. So I think that's where they got their ingredients from. So I was trying to do like, where's Whitman's from or what else? But they have a whole ice cream line, and one of them is the s'mores.
Interesting.
So
I had no idea on that.
Right. So I tried to do a little bit more, but I couldn't find a lot of info on it because, usually the s'mores, what you put on the fire.
Yes.
It's not the ice cream.
No, exactly.
So, but I like you said, I mean, that one was good. They had the quad with it.
Yes.
That was another one.
Yep.
We'd already had that one. So I'm like, well, I'll just pass on that one. And
that's exactly what I did. Like I said, I think your strategy and my strategy are pretty similar. When we go to these things, it's like, first thing, I'm always keeping an eye out on barrel aged or just high ABV stuff. But then when I try and visit as many as I can.
Right.
But then I'm always looking at, okay, which ones, if there's something I haven't had, usually that's what I'm going to go to.
Right.
To try something new. And same thing, I saw they had the quad, and I'm like, well, we've had that for I don't know how many years we've tried it, So this one is the one that I was like, yeah, I got to try it. And it was good. I think if somebody just tried that one, they would really like it.
Yes.
And yeah, I think that was a very good one. I do think that was probably my second place.
Yes.
And I think we're in agreement.
Yep.
So actually, I will let you talk about the number 1.
So I have no idea how this worked out, but this was actually the very first beer that I tried.
I'm going to cut you off for a second because after we left the VIP tent, we were walking that way. And I think Susie come up and goes, Jim said you're supposed to go to that booth, and this is when you're supposed to try right now. So we're like, okay. So we headed that way. So, all right, there you go.
And the only reason why sometimes you got to say that only because you don't know what kind of quantity of.
Exactly.
It could be, they might have only bought 1 or 2 cans along, or because a lot of times it's not always on tap.
Right.
So that's why I was like, well, I saw a couple of cans and I wanted to make sure that you got to try it. So that's why I was like, boy, that one was really good. So that the Mexican style Pot de Creme was really, I mean, we've had several very good Untitled Art. They've got their process down.
They have flavor.
Yes. They're and they're not afraid to put flavor in. For me, this one was, the challenge I think I ran into was the glasses this year were quite a bit bigger than what
they were like a normal size glass instead of a taster glass.
Exactly. So when I went up the first time, he filled my glass up probably half full. So I probably had 3 or 4 ounce hit the first time around. So I was like, wow, that's really good. So then I told my wife, so she went up, got the same hit, took 1 drink and said, oh, I don't like this. So then I had 2 of them. So I almost had a full
So you
glass.
had a buzz going after the first stop.
Right. So I may be a little bit jaded, but this one, it says, it was a barrel-aged imperial stout with macadamia nuts, cocoa, cinnamon, chocolate, vanilla, and milk sugar in collaboration with Three Sons Brewing.
Okay.
So then I said, well,
what's Three Sons?
So Three Sons is out of Dania Beach, Florida, which I'm like, well, that's quite from Wisconsin to Florida, that's quite a collaboration. So I don't know a lot about that brewery other than it started in 2011 with in like most small craft brewers in their kitchen.
Really?
Right. Okay. Started in their kitchen. And now so if they keep doing what they did with this Mexican style, very impressed. I was going to nominate this. I was going to say it was a 4.0 in my book. Mm-hmm. So maybe something we can talk about for beer of the year. Another one.
We can definitely, because I was impressed. Yeah, I was impressed with it because, again, when you get these, especially, how many times have we said when it's a Mexican style, we're either looking for cinnamon, we're looking for pepper type flavor. Now, there wasn't any pepper really that I could pick up, but boy, it had such good flavor with the cinnamon. And I guess I did not realize there was macadamia nut in it. But, you got all the other flavors were there.
Yes.
So, yeah, I got no problem adding it because I did think that was probably the best one by far there.
Yeah, I mean, and kudos to them. I mean, because Untitled Art just keeps on coming up with new flavors that are still very, very good.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, this, not to beat a horse, but if there's the small craft brewery out there, this company is not afraid of flavor. So try their beers and you'll get so many ideas about how this flavor really works together. Yep. And it shows through in their beer.
Yep, exactly. And like I said, we've had episodes where we've focused on them, remember?
Yep.
And we've got some other ones coming up, and I'm sure throughout the year, because they're always releasing new stuff.
Yep.
All the time. So
there might be one coming up real soon.
Could be. We'll have
like
to wait
teaser.
and see. Yeah, teaser. Hint, hint. So, yeah. So I guess that's kind of our wrap up with it, 2026.
Yeah. I mean, it was very good, very impressive. Now we're already thinking about next year and what it's going to be like. And, they set a good foundation, so everything is really good. So let's hope that they can keep on making it good and keeping the weather good like it was.
Yeah. Too. Yeah, that's always a big key because it wasn't that many years ago. We were standing in the tent. So it was before COVID, but remember it was snowing like crazy out. And it's like, really?
It was going like horizontal to the ground.
Oh, yeah. So we were just hanging out in the tent because you had to.
Yeah.
So,
you weren't going outside.
But yeah, that's one of those things that, and then we always keep our eye out for any new festivals or other festivals that are somewhat close to us. So who knows? We may check something out as well.
Right.
Next year, we'll have to wait and see.
See how it goes.
Yeah, exactly. Well, cool, man. I know this was kind of a little different episode for it. Well, we did try 2 beers, so it was still in our wheelhouse. So
we didn't bring a lot of beers in, but we talked about
because we knew we had to talk about a bunch of them. So yeah, that was good. I'm glad that we had very good representation there.
Yep.
We had some merch.
Yep.
We've got. I can post some pictures on our social media.
Oh, there you go.
I'll put some on social media for people to check out. Right now, we have very limited quantities. We do have a couple of different hats, and we've got some leather can koozies.
Yes, that keep your fingers
nice and warm.
Yep.
And they work really well. So, like I said, right now, very limited quantities. If you're interested, by all means, make sure you reach out right away.
Yep.
So
sounds good.
I'll get those out there, and I'm sure we'll have some more in the future. But right now, if you want to get in on that first initial blast.
Yes.
There you go.
And if you have any comments, if you were also there but just didn't get a chance to talk to us, send us some comments on what you thought about between the festival as well.
Yeah, we'd love to hear what your thoughts are on it. We have our thoughts, and like I said, we go into these things more scientific.
Yeah.
So we're not a lot of times looking around at just the overall general whatever.
Right.
We're more focused on, okay, tasting this and thinking about it and what we're going to say on this wrap up.
Yep.
So yeah, cool. Well, hey, Jim, thanks so much, man, especially for the drunken sailor. That was rather interesting, to be honest with you. So thanks to our buddy that brought it back.
Yep.
One of these years, no, he won't ever be on here. So, Well, he could have been if he was on some like the Pilsner one
There
or
you
whatever.
go.
We should have had him on that one, but oh well, it'll all work out. So awesome. Well, thanks, dude. Again, thank you so much for being on there and giving me your thoughts on the festival and providing the beers. So
No problem. Anytime, buddy.
awesome. Well, hey, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for listening. And like we always say, we hope your campfire is always warm.
And your beers are always cold.
See ya.
See ya.
Thank you for listening to the Northwoods Beer Guy podcast. If you have a question, a comment, or a beer you'd like us to review, please feel free to send us a message at northwoodsbeerguy@gmail.com. You can also find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. If you're on Untappd, look up Northwoods Beer Guy and send a friend request. Until next week, I hope all your campfires are warm and all your beer is cold.